So here we go. Here's my review on Ecoblue on the Central Atolls trip that I made in May 2021. So let's start off with the crew. As usual, the Maldives on Liveaboard, a fantastic crew. Could not fault them, really good. Yeah, I should probably give them 12 out of 10. From the dive guides, from the crew on the boat, from the chef, from the guys helping on the DHONI, all first class. Special shout out to Hussein, who helped me a lot. Here he is, you can see him in this short clip. Hussein from Bangladesh, top guy. Worked in the UAE, now has been on this boat for 6 years. Has made my life fantastic. Helps me out with everything, from my suit, to checking my tank, to even put my regulator on. Top guy, top man. Hey Hussein, fantastic. You've made my trip, you've helped me a lot. 10 out of 10. Yeah, he was there for me all the time. You know, I think he treated me like his dad. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for the crew. Superb bunch of people. Let's get on with the cruise director. So cruise director, 10 out of 10. Shaku, what a great guy. He's also the lead dive guide and shark whisperer, but his approach is amazing. It's non-confrontational, it's fantastic. You know, he really knows how to judge a crowd, he knows how to judge individuals, and he just manages things in a really nice way. So yeah, 10 out of 10, and a big thank you to Shaku, aka the shark whisperer. Head of the guides, head of the boat, head of everything. Has really done a great job. Probably the best set of dive guides in the Maldives.
Thank you so much.
All right, crazy people, but lovely people, but extremely professional. You wouldn't know it. I've done a lot of diving in the Maldives this year, and the dive guiding on this trip has been by far the best. It wasn't so bad on the first trip. Got a good score. The second trip that I made, it wasn't great at all. And on this trip, my first on Ecoblue this year, it's been fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Dive guides. Probably the best set of dive guides in the Maldives. 10 out of 10. Shaku, Wahoo and Faris, aka Fish. These guys are amazing underwater. They're safe, they're funny, they interact with the guests. Amazing people. And you'll see here, we had a guy do his open water and advanced open water on the boat, and there was a superb initiation test. Lucas just qualified as a diver, and there's a tradition.
And you love fish, right? They also love.
He's kissing the fish.
Okay, then now the real part. Yes. So Luca,
The initiation.
good diver, okay? Oh yeah.
Violence on Ecoblue. But he's smiling.
Congratulations.
Well done, Luca.
One last speech.
So,
Yes.
I'm really not good in speeches, but yeah, I had a great week. The last 7 days. I haven't thought that diving would be so cool, especially with such great guys. I came here alone, but I think I found some new friends, and I hope we'll stay in contact all together. Thank you.
I do have another video in the making called Ecoblue Fun. It's just going to be some of the fun things that we got up to when we weren't diving. So, press the subscribe button and the like. I'd appreciate that if you want to see that later. Selection and quality of dive site. I've given them 9 out of 10. I mean, the sites were really well thought out. I think we only redid one site once, and that was Miaru Kandu, and it was worth doing that twice with all the shark activity. Viz wasn't great throughout the trip, so they were a bit limited on the sites, but you know, they pulled out all the stops, and I really liked the way they did Fish Tank. Instead of having the circus, big group of divers all kneeling down and the dive guy bringing out a bottle of fish guts and blood and attracting the stingrays, no, we just dove the wall and the reef at Fish Tank, and it made for a much better dive in many ways. So yeah, 9 out of 10. They only lost a point because on a couple of the sites it was a bit overcrowded because of other dive boats. Not their fault, but you know, if we'd just been on the sites ourselves, it would have been 10 out of 10. DHONI diving, 8 out of 10. It could quite easily have been 10 out of 10. The crew, fantastic on the DHONI. The captain, incredible guy. And they have the ENOS safety system. You know, so the dive guides and you as one of the divers can elect to take a ENOS transmitter, and the boat will know where you are on the surface, whatever the conditions. Here's a clip coming up now. Just have a look at this, you'll see how it works. I think that's absolutely amazing, and you know, the first time I've seen that on a liveaboard in the Maldives, and it was several years ago when I was diving off Ecoblue. We were in the water for quite some time because the weather had closed in, there was no visibility. The DHONI came and found it, but I'm really pleased they've added the ENOS system in there. So why have I knocked off a couple of points? One, I would like to see some rope grips on the ladder. It's a very good boarding ladder. It's nice and deep in the water, it's easy to get up, but you know, stainless steel and hands without gloves can be very slippery, so it's not a big deal really, is it, to put some rope grips at the top of the ladder to make it just that little bit safer. The other thing I was unhappy with is that the crew will fill cylinders on the go with the customers still on board, and when you look at the long whip arrangement, that could be a hazard. You know, the compressor and all the stuff is very, very well maintained. The risk of a whip failure is low, but it's there. It's also a trip hazard. So I, for one, would prefer them not to be filling tanks while customers are on board and the DHONI's underway. The other little gripe, and you'll see the shot here, is the wetsuit hanging arrangement. You never have a dry wetsuit on the DHONI. The suits are just too cramped together to dry overnight. I don't mind putting on a wet wetsuit throughout the day, but I do like to put a dry one on the first dive of the day. Please, can you make the wetsuit drying arrangement a little bit better, a little bit more spaced out? Like other dive boats I've experienced in Maldives and in Egypt, very simple carbohydrate heavy. Good food, good for divers. For me, the first couple of days, I wasn't doing too well with the food because I eat a complete different diet. Because I'm a big bloke trying to lose weight, I've not really eaten simple carbohydrates for months and months. But Louise, the hostess, a very nice young German lady, once she knew, she went into action and got the chef to make me some nice pumpkin soup, some nice chicken soup, some excellent chicken porridge, and I should have just opened my mouth before. But also I'm critical, there was no brown bread on the boat, and it is available in Mali, it is available on the liveaboards. There was no low-fat milk. That's why I've been a bit critical. But the food in general, pretty good. I really love the serving arrangement. You can see here in the photographs where they put you in groups of 4 on 2 tables, and the food is brought to the table for you in that little group to take from, which means there's always food for everyone. There's nobody hogging one particular dish. So yeah, 6 out of 10. You know what, I'm going to change that. Let's give them 7 out of 10. I was too harsh. Just a point on the food and beverage. I thought some of the prices were very good for the drinks. For example, $4.50 for a draft beer I think is pretty reasonable. I think the price of coffees is extortionate. You can see the bar price list here. You can make up your own mind. $9 for a Jameson. But the per bottle prices for the spirits I did think were quite reasonable. So I would have taken a mark off for that, but no, you still stay at 7 out of 10. Cabins, 6 out of 10. My cabin was quite nice. I would have preferred more storage or shelves and hooks on the wall. But why have I been critical on the cabins? Because they leak. Both our cabin leaked through one of the hatches, which meant we had this ugly staining in the bathroom in the morning if it had rained. But the nice young couple, Jan and Iris, who were in the forward cabin, they had a leak right down the middle of their double bed, and the solution was not to fix the leak, was just to put a towel in there to absorb the water. And as Jan said, he said it's good we've got a great big bed so we can sleep on each side. So yeah, not too great on that. It might be because it was the end of the season, but hatches can be fixed underway. The other thing is I would have preferred more sound insulation in the cabins. I don't know if it's possible, but you know, you do tend to hear everything if some people are making a racket upstairs, which they're entitled to. They're on holiday, I'm not complaining about that. It would be nice if it was a bit quieter. I take earplugs, so when I remember to put them in, all is okay. The other thing that I would prefer to see in the cabin is a better AC control. When I first got on the boat, I think you'll remember from the day one video, the AC wasn't really cool enough. They came and just played with the settings and said leave it. So what happened, it was cold all the time, and I'd be freezing cold in the morning. I would prefer to see a simpler AC thermostat that could be easily adjusted by the client. Okay, just as an aside, it doesn't really feature in the review because I don't have anything for cameras, etc. But maybe I should in future. I'll think about it. The camera charging area did work in the end. These little cubby holes, I would have preferred it bigger so I could use my external charger on my lights without having to take them off my camera rig. I didn't like the fact that cameras have to be on the floor. They could quite easily put a table in the same position with some electrical outlets, which means people could charge, who've got external charging on their video lights, could charge them on the table. So that was just an aside. Oh, safety, pretty low, 6 out of 10. But having said that, you'll see why I've given it a low score. But it is a very safe boat. The dives are very safe. One of the items I mentioned earlier, I wasn't too happy about on a couple of occasions, charging cylinders underway back to the main vessel with the customers on board. That's a potential hazard which could be avoided. I've mentioned also the rope grips on the ladder, but really the main reason that I scored it so low, as I mentioned, there was a young man being taught his open water and eventually his advanced open water, and before he'd fully completed his open water, the instructor, which is not one of the 3 dive guides I must say, but is associated with the boat, was taking that student down to 23, 24 meters. You can see the pictures here now. I did have a chat with the person concerned and say, you know, why didn't you finish the open water course? I think the guy only had to do his exam, right? And then why didn't you start him on the advanced open water course and do his deep dive first? And I was poo-pooed. I said, you know, step by step, you know, no, it's too early for him, all of that. And the guy wanted to do it. And the guy did go on and do the advanced course. I saw the young man, lady, started his advanced course. I said, what happened? I thought your instructor wasn't very positive about you doing it now. And he said, no, the instructor's fine with it now. Complete change of attitude. So it all ended well. But you can't break standards, you know. All the organisation, PADI, SSI, there are standards there for reasons. It's to minimise risk of an accident. The young man concerned, I don't think was in any risk at all. He was one of those naturals who just pick it up quickly, but you still don't do it. So yeah, I've had to penalise the safety out of 6 out of 10. But if you're just going diving, it's a very safe boat. And the other reason I was a bit critical on safety is the oxygen. You know, I always have a separate set of marks or part section in my review for oxygen. And the reason for that, I'm mad keen about oxygen. It's been one of the best things that came into diving since I learned to dive way back in 1982. We didn't have it then. And there's no excuse for not having good quality oxygen equipment, quick to use on a liveaboard. And sadly, that wasn't the case on Ecoblue. They've got lots of oxygen on the DHONI, 2 big J cylinders and a half J, but just look at this. The regulator arrangement is completely unsatisfactory. It's got to be assembled virtually from a kit. It doesn't have a demand valve. They're relying on non-rebreather mass to deliver oxygen, which is just not acceptable. I did try to see the other kit, the portable kit that's on Ecoblue, and I never got to see it. There was always a reason why. And then when I finally left the boat, I said, okay, just send me a picture of it open so I can give a better score in the review. Sadly, that did not happen, so 5 out of 10. I am sure for next season this will all be rectified, because I know the gentleman who operates the boat, a German chap called Alex, and he will definitely get hold of this for sure. So sorry, 5 out of 10, just for the reasons I've explained really. Booking and admin, 8 out of 10. Faultless really in many ways. Why did they drop 2 points? I want liveaboard companies to put all the forms online that we can complete electronically and online and do e-signatures, or at the very least print everything out and we just sign them when we get on the boat. This is Jasmine, believe it or not, she's in charge of booking and admin. What a place to have your office. No, she's normally based in Germany. By the end of the season, I guess, to help out with the boat pulling out and the admin in Maldives. I don't know if that's true, but she's here. But it's a good excuse anyway. She's great on the booking and admin, responds fast. I will have a criticism on it, not about Jasmine, but about why don't you put more online forms, safe diving practices, all of that. Fill it all in online and we just sign them when we get here. What I did like is we didn't have to redo the booking forms and everything. Jasmine had printed off what we'd sent her earlier and we could just fill in the missing details. So thank you for that, Jasmine.
Thank you.
When you've been travelling, you know, in some circumstances, say from the USA to Maldives, it is going to be a 24 to 36 hour trip, and then you've got to go through waivers, medical statements, all of that. Get all that done in advance. So you just go on the boat, you're feeling a bit knackered, you have a drink, you have something to eat, you go to sleep. You haven't got to sit down and go through paperwork. Ecoblue do it pretty good. What you do fill in, they do print off, and then you complete the rest on board. So it's better than most, but as soon as it's all online and we haven't got to worry about paperwork when we arrive on the boat, it will be 10 out of 10. Boat condition, 7 out of 10. It was the last trip of the season, but you know, you can't have leaking hatches into guest bedroom. That's a big no-no. They can be fixed. That's usually either going to be a seal issue, a mechanical seal issue, or it'll need to just be prized open, some Sikaflex pudding and tightened up. So yeah, that's a big no-no for me. The boat's a little bit, is slightly tight, but again, you know, heavy season. I'm sure when it comes out now, they've got to, I think until the 1st of August, they're going to be working on the boat. So it is what it was, you know. And the other reason I've been a bit low on the score is because of the boarding arrangement between the DHONI and Blue Voyager. I mean, that also kind of affected my safety score, but just look at it, these clips coming up now. It works and it seems okay, but the risk of somebody falling is very, very high. I haven't got any suggestions on how to make it better, really. Maybe you put some sort of handrail on the DHONI. I don't know, but it should be a bit better than it is. It works but there is a high risk of somebody slipping and falling. The other thing that I would like to see on the boat, and maybe that can be done before the next season, is there's a nice outside toilet which makes it very convenient to use. You haven't got to go down to your cabin, but there's no hand wash sink in it. You know, especially in these times, you know, if you go to the toilet, you want to wash your hands and you can't at the moment. So I would appreciate that if that could be addressed, because you know, I'm going back on this boat in the future if they'll have me, that's for sure. Let's get to the score. So a bit sad that really, just short of 4 stars, because remember my system is 1 star 50 to 60, 2 stars 60 to 70, 3 stars 70 to 80, 4 stars 80 to 90, and 5 stars 90 to 100. Just a couple of things and they would have been 4-star. But I'm critical, I do critical reviews, honest reviews. This is an excellent dive boat, so I am sure a lot of the things that I've mentioned will be addressed and redressed, and the next time I go on it, I'm looking forward to giving them a 4, maybe even a 5-star rating. The things that I mark them down on are simple to correct, so yeah, but don't let my 3-star rating deter you from going on this boat at all.